So good afternoon, everyone. As you all are aware, that DAIS is now a Microsoft Showcase School, an elite group of schools that exemplifies the best of teaching and learning in the world. We are extremely happy and proud of this achievement. We have been able to achieve this mainly because of each and every one of you. Kudos to all of you for your involvement, dedication, and inner drive. It's a great responsibility now, and we need to get into micro details for digital teaching and learning. Hence, to make this possible, we have added Sudipta to the academic IT primary team to assist Tina. Of course, Rupa will be working alongside. Thus, for all our class level planning meetings, Rupa and Sudipta will also attend besides Tina. We all have a duty to DAIS regarding the way we use technology for, with, for and with our learners. First and foremost, the apps we use should be age appropriate. Every app we use should be such that it can be integrated with the Microsoft 365 platform. Our communication with each other, our planning, our teaching ways, and the apps used by our students should be only what is offered by Microsoft. We need to avoid using Google, as students this young cannot have an independent Google account. As teachers, we have to make sure that the safety and security of our students when they are online is of our utmost priority. We should avoid independent internet surfing by students unless and until we develop the class-wise digital citizenship expectations, as parents may not be with them always. We should use only those apps that we are very comfortable with in order to avoid confusion amongst our learners. I will now hand you over to Tina. This session will be a beginning of many more sessions that we will have together. Thank you. Over to you, Tina.
Thank you so much for that great introduction, Miss Farida. So the next few points that we're going to discuss would be how are we planning our lessons using digital tools? Then we will move on to accessibility, and then we will try to unpack our current practices. And then the suggested apps are developed together with the tech mentors, which I will mention later. And then we will have a concluding message from our own Mr. Basu and a Q&A at the end of the session. Let's move on to the third slide, please. So the first slide is for us to be able to check what considerations do you have when planning your lessons around the use of digital learning tools? For this point, Sudipta is going to put a Menti survey on our chat, so please check that out. And don't forget the question is also there for you to respond to. We are going to give you about 3 minutes to let us know what considerations do you have when planning your lessons around the use of digital learning tools. Ms. Sudipta, can you refresh the Menti, please? The Menti result.
Yes. Miss Tina, it's not happening. Can you?
I'll try to post it on the chat. Can you see if the link is working?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I can.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're seeing that you're making sure that they are child friendly, age appropriate, suitable to meet the task criteria. I'm seeing a lot of age appropriateness and how it will benefit the learners, how it can be engaging, and make sure that you are modifying the medium. Meaningful, I love the term. Easy, accessible. Yeah, taking into consideration the kind of learners that you have, because some of them are not yet ready to navigate. Very good point. Whether it supports the learning and teaching and whether it is suitable. Really looking at if everyone will be able to do it. When is the right time to do it? Good. So the audience, how you're going to use it and when you're going to use it. Amazing responses. Thank you so much. Safety of teachers and students. I think we're all in the right track. Collaborative, user-friendly, the purpose of the tool, super, super important. Awesome. Thank you so much, teachers. I think that we all are in the same page when we are planning our lessons around the use of digital technology, where we consider our learning objectives, our intended audience, when are we going to use it, when is the appropriate time to use it, and how are we going to use it. So the what, the why, and the how are always there. Thank you. Let's move on to the next survey that we have. What I heard a lot of accessibility in your responses. So when you hear the word accessibility, what are other words that come to your mind when you hear that? You have 3 words. We would like for you to have 3 words on that. Are you able to post it, Mr. Dipya?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I posted it.
Thank you so much. You are so efficient.
Thank you, Miss Tina.
Everyone is included. Easily available, easy to use, satisfaction, exploration, inclusive, confidence, ownership, readiness, caters to all learners, perfect, and accuracy. I'm seeing 6 voices. Could we have more people, please? There are 40 plus of us. Please add more voice to our mentee.
It needs to be refreshed because
Can you
Not
refresh?
allowed to type.
So Dipta, just refresh the page.
Press
yeah.
Control R. Just press Control R. If it's difficult to navigate, Control R. Perfect. Now there are 29 voices. Thank you so much. I'm seeing a lot of readiness, as you can see from the bigger word. Availability, approachability, easy, 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 easy. Lots of easy. Useful for later use. The more voices that are putting the word, the same word, the bigger it will become. Good thoughts about readiness. I think that should be okay. We have 33 voices at least. Thank you so much, Miss Sudipta. So I'm seeing lots of availability and readiness when we talk about accessibility. The next slide will be about what is accessibility. So we're going to watch this short video. Are you sharing, Miss?
1 minute, miss, something went wrong.
Okay. So while Miss Sudipta is troubleshooting, would someone want to speak about some of the thoughts that you put on the Mentimeter, please? You can unmute your microphone. Yes, Miss Needy and then Miss Numa.
So accessibility, I think for us, when we talk about kindergarten children, preschool children, they're still getting used to, tapping on the mouse and different things. So I think it should be whatever platform we're using have to be easily accessible by them, as well as accessibility to me would be also whether it's easily accessible to to teachers. Sometimes it's paid unpaid platforms also that come into the picture when it comes to accessibility. Yeah, that's what I think. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Next, Numa, please.
Yes. So, apart from accessibility, that means, age appropriateness of the learning tool. I think the interface matters when it comes, at least to the younger learners, because when the interface looks friendly and attractive to them, they are more engaged in it, right? And also when it comes with more options to communicate, they can choose from it based on their comfort and their interest. So that could also be inclusive of them.
Really great points. Thank you so much, Numa. Miss Sudipta, is this
Yes,
ready?
yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.
Simply put, accessibility is the ability to access. A common misconception is that accessibility is about disability. It's actually about universal design. Universal design benefits everyone, not just people with disabilities. Chances are you want your website, video, or other content to be viewed by as many people as possible. Let's put this need into perspective. More than 1 in 5 Americans has a disability, whether it's obvious or not. On a global scale, 1 billion people on the planet identify as having a disability. That's 15% of the population, and they represent $8 trillion in disposable income, more if you include their families and friends. The more people who can access your content, the better. Let's talk about some of the usability obstacles people with disabilities face when trying to access content on the web. Visual. To properly access your content online, people with visual disabilities may require a screen reader or magnification software and will likely rely on a keyboard more heavily than a mouse. There are simple ways to design your content to meet the requirements of these tools and help these people access your content. Auditory. Let's say you have a video with audio on your website. Transcripts and closed captions are required to give people with hearing impairments the same content, and the inclusion of descriptive audio events would give a complete experience. Mobility. Not everyone has the ability to access your content the same way. Some people rely on a keyboard only or may use a specialized device to navigate your content. Some simple forethought in designing your content around these needs makes a huge difference. Lastly, cognitive. When you approach the design of your content, it is important to be inclusive of people with cognitive disabilities. Keep your content and design simple, concise, and easy to understand. As mentioned earlier, accessible universal design benefits everyone. For example, when you're watching a video in a loud environment or where you can't hear the audio, the inclusion of transcripts and closed captions provides a better experience.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dipta. So as a recap of what is accessibility, think of our senses. Is it something that is legible to the eyes? Is it something that is easy for us to hear and understand? If not, provide captions for your audience. Is it easy for our learners to manipulate the task that we would like for them to do? And is it easy for them to understand? So 4 things: looking at it, hearing, navigating, and understanding. So just 4 things that you have to remember. Example for me, I'm living by the highway, so it's quite difficult for me to hear the other person that I'm connecting to online. Okay, so you may notice that I'm always putting text in all of my presentations to make it easier for us to understand each other. Next, so now we know what accessibility is, we're going to move on to the next video, which is why is it important? Ready, Mr. Dipta?
Yes, miss.
Good afternoon. My name is Rihanna Gutierrez, and I'm going to talk about how my disability is an opportunity in professional learning. Usually within the first few minutes of a presentation, I disclose my disability. Since I really have only 5 minutes, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm hard of hearing. Ever since I was a child, I've been passionate about accessibility. And one of my really good friends said to me, if you don't speak up, no one else will. So with that in mind, I've been thinking way back about advocacy. My grandmother and my mother were very strong advocates for me. They worked to ensure that I have access in education. As a result, I'm a strong advocate today. I apply this in my work. And I learned about Universal Design for Learning, or UDL, in graduate school. UDL has changed the way that I teach and learn. Whenever I look at media, I think about 4 things: all text and images, captions and videos, transcripts for full access, and the structure in web pages. As educators in this room, we have the power with this content. We have the power to curate it. We can curate how, when, where, and what other people learn. So think about these 4 things when you're curating content. Whenever I see a gap in something, I look at it as a challenge, and the challenge becomes an opportunity. I reach out to content creators and curators to help them think about creating more inclusive design that is guided by UDL principles. Now, I told you I have a disability. I don't see it as a limitation or something to overcome. It is an opportunity. I can't just think about my own disability. I just start there. This student that you see here, he's also deaf. Can you believe that face? He's just jumping right into that computer. Do you think he would have the same response if the media was not accessible? Think about that.
Thank you so much, Miss Sudipta. So the first video was what accessibility is, and the second is why it's important. And as educators, I'm sure that we will all agree that ultimately what we're thinking is how are we going to support and enhance the learning of our students through the use of technology. And we cannot get away with it because we're all using technology to deliver our lessons. So the next question for you, after finding out what accessibility is and why it's important, we're going to ask you a question. In what ways do you think you can make your lesson? Because when we talk about accessibility, it's not just about the task that you're giving to your students, making it accessible. You also have to make sure that the presentation that you have, the teaching tools that you have, and the things that you are using for your students are also accessible. So the question would be, Ms. Sudipta, can you show
Yes.
in what ways do you think you can make your lesson and student task more accessible for your learners? Think about your learners, not the adult learners, but the students that you are catering to.
I'm sharing the link, Miss. Shared.
You can submit more than one response as well. If you have more ways that you can think of, you can submit more responses.
Tina, you're on mute.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Thank you, Miss Farida, for calling that out. I thought that I was discussing and I was happily talking. So, great responses. Catering to individual needs, super important. Not just because we all know not one size fits all. Uh, easy to read font and font style and size. Text are legible. Being aware of the learning styles, I think that is super important. More comprehensively by using one tool. Sorry, I missed that bit. Making it simple, well explained, or self-explanatory. Closed captions for hard of hearing. Yeah. So you are the experts of your content. You are the experts of your students because you all know them. So you would know how to best support your learners. And I'm so glad that you are sending in your thoughts. I think we have 32 responses, 32 voices. Thank you so much for those who responded. Choosing tools that are meaningful and will add to their learning. I think that before, and I'm sure that you will agree, before you choose the tool, think about what is the learning objective? What would you like for your students to be able to learn and be able to do? And then after that, you choose which tool is going to support that. Thank you so much for all your amazing responses. Should we move on, Miss Adipta?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. This is such an amazing discussion. Thank you. Current practice now. Now that we know what are the things that we have to consider, we would love for you to list 3 of your favorite apps. But don't just list your 3 favorite apps. We would like for you to mention what do you use that app for. For example, I'm using Flipgrids to collect responses from my students to reflect at the end of our unit. To tell me what are the things that they love with the task, what they love, what they learned so far. So that's one. So don't just mention you're using Flipgrid, mention what do you use that app for. Mr. Dipta, can you put the Padlet, please?
Yes, Miss. It's Demis.
On the chat box, there's
Yes.
on the chat box, there's the Padlet link where we would love to ask you what are your 3 top favorite apps, and then what do you use them for?
So, Miss Tina, can this app be any app that we have been using in past, or does it have to be the apps we are using virtually now?
It's the app that you are using for your teaching, or
Now, present.
the app that you're using to have to collect to do tasks with your students. So for it could be your teaching tool,
Yes.
or the whatever app that you're using with your students, and what are you using them for?
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Padlet for reflections. Ooh, Padlet is popular. Chatbox. What do you use Chatbox for? Other than socializing. Are there ways that you can use Chatbox for other things? Don't we use Chatbox for sharing links? Padlet. Lots of Padlet for reflection, understanding, wondering, immediate responses. Yes, perfect, Miss Anuma. Anupama, sorry. Microsoft Forms. For what? Creating musical quiz. Love it. Microsoft Form to assess learning. Flipgrid for videos. Indian music. You guys are amazing. I think I've seen some of the Flipgrids in music. Numa Microsoft Form. Receive learners' task submissions in real time. Yes, correct. Pear Deck. Interactive classroom. PowerPoint. Nearpod. Yep, teaching students how to type and send in their responses. Book creator to put together children's work at the end of a unit. Yes, I love that. Students being able to record their voice as they read and then to hear. I think book creator is so accessible, don't you think? Because it has everything. Text, audio, video, safety, because when you put YouTube videos there, it's safer than going directly to the link. Kahoot! Kahoot for assessment. Live worksheets. Nearpod, Podlet. Can you scroll up a little bit more? Typing tutor. Quizzes. PowerPoint. Gallery walk for Padlet. Okay. So we will leave this Padlet with you after our session so that you can still add more if you wish to add more, because we know that it's quite difficult for us to think right now, especially at the end of the day. So we will leave that on for you to be able to access again later. Next point, please, Miss. Okay, so since we collected few of the apps that you are using this time, these are the suggested apps that the tech mentors and I developed together. And the activity is for you to connect, extend, and challenge. What do you do to connect? You have to hit like if you are already using the suggested app, or the thumbs down if not yet. Extend, add a comment on how you are using the app, either for your teaching or to give tasks to your students. And the challenge is, if you don't know how to use a particular app, how do you plan to go about it? If you're interested to use a particular app, how do you plan to go about it? Miss Sudipta, can we?
Yes.
The next Padlet.
Yes, miss. Yes, miss.
You're awesome.
Miss, it's there in the chat box.
Thank you so much. So check your chat box, please, and let us know. Thumbs up, thumbs down, and add.
Sudipta, I can't see it where you are saying about the last one.
Chat box, miss.
Chat box,
Miss,
please.
in the chat, sorry. Yes, in the chat box, miss. Last one.
I think we should all agree with Microsoft Teams. We should have all thumbs up with Microsoft Teams.
I'll put it again, Miss Sushma. I put it again. Just check.
Miss Tina?
Tina, you're on mute again.
I am not able to unmute. Oh my.
Hear you now. Can hear you now.
Okay. Thank you so much. Miss Mercy, what you say?
Miss Tina, just a question. Yes, I had a question. Can I thumbs up twice or 3 times?
In the same.
Can I vote more than once?
In the same tool? I haven't tried that. You can try. I think you can only thumbs up in one.
Yeah, you can. It auto cancels if you press it twice.
It's like a switch. It's only on or off. Book creator, presenting student work, recording audio for reflections. I'm glad that you are using it, Nili. Numa as well. Creating resources and showcasing student work. Awesome. I think it's so intuitive and so easy to use.
Tina, I don't know whether I have to put the name also. I just put the thumbs up. I don't know whether I'm doing it correctly or not.
No problem, miss. This is either anonymous or with your name. It's okay.
Just put the thumbs up and then to go back and write name, so it was difficult. I just
no need to write your name, miss. It's okay. Just do the thumbs up and do comments if there are comments that you would like to say. For example, the comment would be, how are you using that app?
Tina, that we mentioned in the previous one, though there were only three things, so I mentioned only 3 while I'm using other also. So then I put it in the 4th draft like that.
That's fine, miss. So from the selection, you can just do a thumbs up. That's fine. Because anyways, we will be curating these 2 things together, and we will summarize the points as well. You have about 2 minutes to finish the challenge, the connection, the extension of these suggested apps. Also, you might notice that we put headings, we focused into 5. The first is, what are some of the apps that you are using for communication and collaboration? What are the apps that you might be interested to use to construct knowledge and to use as teaching tools? Apps for assessment and feedback, creative tools, and then coding, because we are integrating coding into our curriculum. So it's really important as well that you see what are some of the apps that we are using under coding. Even if you're not particularly using coding right now, we put them there. Or for the challenge bit, if say for example, oh, I don't know how to use Minecraft, but I'm so interested to do that, you can put that as a challenge. So you can do a thumbs down because you're not using Minecraft yet, for example, but you're interested to learn about it, please let us know. So that when we collect, when we do another session, we can do something like, hey, Minecraft enthusiast, this is our time. We're gonna learn something together. And there are so many resources. Our students are amazing. They can even be the one leading the Minecraft session for us. They are more experts than teachers, you know? So it's okay. We can even learn from them. I have had students teaching me, Miss, this is the easiest way to do that, don't you know? And I'm like, okay, I got so excited. I love that. Because they have more flexibility, their reflexes are so fast, and they have more time to explore. Okay, so your last 2 minutes over. Thank you so much for all your responses. Again, we're going to keep that, all the resources that we have for this session, we're going to put them into our post. The next point will be for our Mr. Basu to give us remarks about our session for today. Mr. Basu, are you with us?
Hello. Hi. Hi. So, it's great to see that there is so much of active usage of technology in the classroom, but I think uh, in lines of what Ms. Taraporevala also said earlier, at the beginning of the session, I think we just need to sort of take it easy. And we also need to ensure that there is planning amongst the classes while we look at the applications. One of the strengths of the school always have been in fostering creativity in the classroom, and we should sort of look at that. um, there are certain things that we are currently doing being in an online school, which is not technology integration, but it's actually helping us to connect to the children. So what we should think is that where we are going to bring in technology, which is going to be an effective in an effective manner, which is going to help us bring in certain concepts of stuff in the classroom, which will help their understanding of what we are doing. I think that's the role of technology. While we do this, I think we need to be just completely mindful of the fact that we are on a within the sort of framework, and I'm just repeating what Ms. Taraporevala said earlier, of Microsoft. And the reason being that there is a sort of safety net which is there while we have chosen this particular platform. You must understand that children who are young, they cannot be left on their own to sort of surf and sort of use stuff which they're not very comfortable at. And therefore, I think it's important that we need to be mindful of the fact on how many new things that we are sort of trying to do, and what access they would need in order to use them, and whether they're sort of comfortable. I don't think there is anything about stopping you to get trying out new things. I think you're most welcome to do that. But let us also ensure that the other people in your teaching group are also comfortable using that, so that uh, it is something that you're planning as a class group rather than as an individual. And I think you follow those sort of principles, and look forward to gradually unveil the various aspects of technology into the classroom, with thinking into the mind that how this will impact the students' learning. I think that's all that I have to say. And it's great to see a lot of things which are happening.
Thank you so much for all the great points, Mr. Basu. We appreciate you being with us today. I think we're so privileged that our leaders are really supporting our teaching and learning at the AIS. So I'm so grateful to you, Ms. Farida and Mr. Basu, for sharing your insights about our whole school use of technology for teaching and learning. I'm gonna put those points together towards the end when we share our resources with you. Ms. Sudipta, can you share the last Padlet, please? Because I just want to make some points.
Okay, yes, sure.
Okay, can you scroll to the first? Yeah. Yeah. So you may notice that at the very beginning of
So
our
I think Miss Taraporevala is wanted to speak, but I think she was finding herself unable to unmute. So I think she will come on at the end if
yes,
she
sir.
can, or else I think you can go ahead and sort of close it as time comes by. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Okay, so you might notice that on our suggested apps, the leading apps that we put there are all Microsoft. And as Ms. Farida and Mr. Basu mentioned, we are a Microsoft Showcase school. We have to keep promoting, we have to keep using. And you may also notice that under those headings, a lot of the apps are repeating. For example, you can use Book Creator for communication collaboration, same with teaching tools, same with assessment feedback, same with creative tools. You can use Microsoft Suite for any of these things. It's how you use it. So focus on one tool, be expert in that, and then make sure that your students can use the same tool so that there are no students left behind and no teachers left behind. As Mr. Basu mentioned, grade level planning together. Ms. Farida, I think you want to say something more, please. Are you able to unmute? No. Any member of the PF?
There I could. Finally, I left and came back and finally could. So a big thank you, Tina and Abhimanyu. Thank you, Sudeepta, for helping us today. So as Tina and Mr. Basu said, we have to go slow. We have to master our apps. Of course, for your teaching, you can explore, but do things together. And as I said earlier, it's just one of the first sessions that we're starting with, and we'll have many more sessions on this together. And I'm sure holding each other's hands, we'll be able to achieve everything. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ms. Munshi, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, Miss Munshi.
Okay, I couldn't unmute myself also. I think Abhimanyu, we need to make a call to probably Meenakshi and tell her about this. No, all I want to say is I endorse whatever Farida and Abhimanyu have said, and that is that we all need to plan together. And whatever we are using on this platform should be something that we've tried out, comfortable with, and also that is something that the children should be able to access and not. And I think Tina, you've done a super job, and it's a right beginning, and I think we all have to learn, and we'll all learn together. Thank you very much for organizing this.
So thank you, and we'll see the academic teachers tomorrow, the homeroom teachers, co-teachers, um, computer, Hindi and Marathi teachers tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the same team, Digital Learning Studio, for Maria's lesson. So thank you. And the non-academic teachers, just a reminder, by Thursday, your comments and grades should come in. Thank you. Bye-bye.
So much.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Miss Anupama, do you have a question? We can accommodate questions. I think we have 2 more slides that we have to show.
Sure, then Tina, please go ahead.
Yes,
Tina, please go ahead.
Mr. Dipta, can you show the last 2 slides, please? We can accommodate questions and then our team photos. Miss Anupama, I think you're raising your hand. Miss Anupama, please. Miss Anupama, are you able to unmute? Do you have questions for us?
Most probably she can't unmute.
Sometimes when we can't unmute, we can't even write in the chat box.
Yeah.
Can we take Noma?
Numa, yes, please, Numa.
Yes. Thank you. My question was, in fact, it's a team question. Today, when we had our planning grade one planning team, all the team members thought that probably it was time to introduce book creator to our learners. So, what would be your advice regarding that?
Okay. First, check who are the teachers who already know how to use Book Creator if they're comfortable. The second is to do it together as a team. Practice, say for example, how maybe make one book or one collaborative thing for your team so that you will see how it will go with your students. I can work with you on that. We can actually practice together first before you do it with your team. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tina, I had the same question, but I was trying to introduce the book creator for standard 2 just to make a word dictionary so that they get comfortable with the new words which they are learning in Hindi. So whenever you are planning with them, I will also just check that if I'm perfect with doing with them. I've made my practice book creators, books and all, so with the book creator app. So I was just going to introduce, but before that, I would also like to know. And apart from that, I want to know that live worksheets, which I have used only once, and I found them good with the children. And I have put up the tech show or tech Tuesday. I have presented that. How to know that these are really safe? Because if you go to the live worksheet, you can open several worksheets with all the subjects and all. So that, and they are from different schools and all, which I have created. I will be showing mine only, but they can go to that or not. That I would like to know. If they may get more information, which I don't want them at this time to access to.
Okay, so when you do your live worksheet, make sure that you are directing them with a link. Make sure that every few minutes you're following up that they are on task. It's basically around your strategy because you cannot observe the kids 24/7. You're not with them physically. So it really has to do with our classroom management all the time. Even virtual learning, we have classroom management. The tip that I'm always doing is to make sure that all the agenda that I would like to address, they are already on the announcement. And I think that a lot of you are also doing that. I've been seeing grade 3 and 4 teachers and students that are posting announcements on Teams so that they are on track.
So that I have done when I did the worksheet, live worksheet. But further to use it further, I wanted to be a little more sure about it. That's.
Thank you so much, Miss. I think we can explore more later. Miss
This is actually Miss Anupama's question because she can't unmute. She called me up for the question, so I'm just telling. This is actually not her, like from all of us also. See, about the Kahoot, because at present we are not supposed to do the Kahoot in the class because they can go to it goes through the Google. But what about the children? Because in some children they know how to make Kahoot. Today only a child she created a Kahoot on the ongoing theme, and she wanted to play that Kahoot with the other, like with the peers. So how to, like, because they are creating Kahoots and coming up for show and share, because from 10 to 10:30 they present their understanding on different themes and topics. So how to go about that when the children are creating their own Kahoots and they wanted to share with the class?
You mean the students taking their own initiative to create
Yes.
assessment?
Yes. Yeah.
What is our take on this? Any tech mentor who would like to speak about what could be our take on this? If the students would like to lead and create assessment for the class. What are we gonna do so that we're not really depriving them, but we are worried about the tool that we are using?
Yes.
Right. That's
Mr. Basu.
Any thoughts?
Hello, sorry, I was on a call, so I just missed out what you all said.
So, sir, there are students who would like to create assessment themselves for the class. So they are using Kahoot, but the teachers are quite worried because the children are the one using Kahoot themselves, and so they might be exploring things online, and they are not always
supervised.
I don't think I'll be very blunt. I don't think we are ready as a school for differentiated assessments and also assessments which is coming from students through student agency. I don't think we are ready. Okay.
So it's not students assess. They are not assessing. They actually they do it for the show and share. They want to present their
That's fine.
understanding sometimes in the class using Kahoot.
That's absolutely fine. So, you know, any of these apps, if they want to use to express themselves, I think that's absolutely fine. But if you want to formally assess them, I think you need to figure out how you want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think we have gone that far that we can let the children design their own assessments. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just during the show and share time. They share their understanding with their peers.
That's absolutely fine.
It's kind of a fun activity for them. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. That is different. I think I probably misunderstood what you said, Tina.
Yeah, sorry, sir. So I think we're clear about it depends on the activity that the students are doing. So maybe just moderate the activity. Tell them to share it with you first before it goes to the whole class. So monitoring is the key.
And I think we should not promote anything which requires them to make an account where they legally should not make an account if they are not of a certain age. And that literally comes in for Google, because you know you cannot make a Google account unless you are of, I can't remember what's your age that you need to be. So we should just refrain from anybody faking their age to make an account just because they want to use a particular app. So I you know, as a school officially we cannot promote that.
True.
Yeah. And also because I think, you know, what I said also earlier, because the kids are actually doing a lot of this exploration on their own. So therefore, how much that they are doing on their own, and you know, how much they can also explore from there is something that we need to figure out. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Awesome. Any more questions? We're gonna have one more question, and then we're gonna end the session with our team photo. Who has the question? Is it Sonali?
Miss Tina, Miss Anupama has written something. Please read.
Yeah. Yes,
We
Miss
have
Anupama. And I think
Miss.
yeah, I think Mr. Basu was clear about the guidelines. If Kahoot is not meant to be for their age, don't allow them. They can use other tools, definitely. They can use Microsoft Forms for their show and share. They can use
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint.
Miss Tina, I just went through. Miss Tina, it is their Microsoft Kahoot's Microsoft Teams app. What is that? When I open the apps in the Teams, it is showing Kahoots as a Microsoft Teams app. Kahoot bring people together. So what is that then? It is also mentioned over there.
Microsoft also has a Kahoot, this, which I also saw, and I'm not sure whether it is different than the Google which we give to the children. And
Tina, Tina, may I request you to explore that, please?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
the apps that you are seeing on Teams, they are tied apps. You know, it means they can be integrated to teams. For example, Flipgrid, Wakelet, Kahoot, etc., etc. They can be embedded within teams. But it doesn't mean they're all safe.
Oh,
so maybe check the age limit for creating their own Kahoot account. If it's 13 and above, then definitely we cannot have them. Yeah.
Okay.
Like the social media, we cannot allow students to create social media if they're 13 below. Ms. Sudipta, I think if you have more questions, we're gonna accommodate them via email or chat. We could have more conversations where the tech mentors and I can plan together for the next session, maybe. Yeah. Ms. Sudipta. Okay, so I would love to thank the tech mentors team who helped me with this presentation. First and foremost to Sudipta for this wonderful presentation that we shared with you. And this poster was created by Nidhi. Super creative, right? So thank you so much, Nidhi. And then we have Ayushi, we have Numa, we have Nilam, Urvi, Chaitali, Vandana, and my partner ICT in crime, Miss Rupa. Thank you so much to you. Ladies. You're amazing.
Yes.
Thank you, PKC and Mr. Basu, for all your support.
Thank you, Miss Tina.
Thank you, Tina,
Thank
once
you so
again for
much.
a lovely session. It was very enriching.
Thank you, Tina. Thank you so much.
Tina,
Thank
still
you,
have some
Tina.
Lots
last
of
words.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you, Tina. Great session. Take care.
Bye. Hugs, everybody.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you and bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Tina.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank
everyone.
you,
Bye-bye.
Tech Mentors and Farida for organizing this.
Okay, Tina, I'm not able to leave. Can you remove me? I'm not able to leave.
Yes, I remove you. Seema, I
That's a
remove
new
you.
one.
Thank you. Thank you.